What's up, guys and gals? You know exactly what it's time for. It's time for the latest piece of One Piece. Right? Let me just double check that. It is time for the latest piece of One Piece, isn't it? Looking here, carry the 4, and it's April? Alright, I guess we're a little bit behind, so now it's time for us to play catch-up time. Though more of a mustard guy myself. Anyways, let's get underway here with chapter 1141, entitled An Older Woman. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, some of these chapter reviews will be quick and to the point, not only because we are playing catch-up time, still a mustard guy, but the fact of the matter is that some of these chapters, while interesting and I enjoyed them, I didn't have a whole lot to contribute or talk about. And then, of course, I got behind and yada, yada, yada. So, we're sort of going to semi-streamline these things. I'll talk about what I want to talk about, but we're trying to get these all out while there's a break week so that I can be all caught up by the time chapter 1146 actually drops. So, starting us off, we're still following the cover pages, of course. Now, of course, Ulti is there, playing, I guess, pin the nail on the dinosaur sort of idea with swords. It's a dartboard for dinosaurs this time, and poor page 1 is down there and stuff. It's just, it's an awful situation. Who is just being a son of a gun, right? So we're going to get more on that, of course, later on. Now, Nami and the rest of the crew, Rhodes, everyone leaves the castle, and, with the guards and stuff like that, obviously they've been put on this, the guys who are all beat up and stuff, they've been put on this rowboat by the looks of it, and they're heading back to town and that kind of idea. We get a little more information about how exactly Adam works with the different houses. Each branch has a type of history. When lightning struck, started a fire, they had to make the decision to cut branches off and stuff like that. So Frankie is still going through and learning about the history of the Adam tree. Usopp is loaded. I mean, the party is still in full force. Usopp is loaded, and funnily enough, here comes, of course, the, chapter title, An Older Woman. Chief Jarl. What is his type of woman? An older broad. And it's like he is literally the oldest living person in the world as far as has been confirmed. He's the oldest living person in all of the One Piece world right now. So Usopp's just like, that doesn't exist. Smacks the sword. And I was like, ah, what motherfucker, right? And it's like, holy shit. So Dory's like, whoa, Usopp, you can't do that. And he goes, and he's not even listening. He said, hey, don't touch the sword. And he goes, no, you shut up, Dory. Let me tell you, there is no hero draw Excalibur from its shape. Why are there 6 of you, Dory? So that's Usopp right now, right? And it is quite funny. They're talking about it. They're shooting the shit. Nami's back and everything. Brooks just yo-ho-ho-ho-ing everything, right? And this is where Usopp is just having a great time, but Nami lets it go because he's just, drunk and tongue out and sitting back, and goes to sit with Jinbei, who, Jinbei's still sitting there having a drink, having a good time and stuff. But Nami brings up, because I'm sure that Jinbei, once again, we have to take some context, that Jinbei has probably talked with the Straw Hats a couple of times here and there. We hope in the limited time they've spent together, we hope on the, however many days it took to get to Elbaf sort of idea proper. We assume while they partied and stuff, maybe they had a serious conversation or two. He probably doesn't know everything, but I'm sure that the subject of their goals, of some of their dreams, that kind of idea, because they're they're the Straw Hat Pirates, but you could even call them the Dream Pirates. They all carry that dream, inside them. They all have a goal, they all have a dream. I'm sure Jinbei is the one, realistically, now that I think about it, Jinbei is the one who, what is Jinbei's dream? What is his goal? And I would argue, right out of the gate, until we get a personal goal for him, his personal goal is to see, right now, to make Luffy the king of the pirates. That's his personal journey. He's there to aid Luffy because he thinks Luffy being king of the pirates is the best thing for the world, right? However, it's to break down the stigma and the racism and all that, and try to do his part into breaking that down, right? As between humans and fishmen. That's his goal, and he thinks that maybe, he's carrying on the queen's dream sort of idea. If she could turn a celestial dragon, then anybody can be turned to see fishmen in a better light, in a new light sort of idea. So I think that Jinbei, once again, his goal is to carry on with the Pirate King's crew, and by doing so, he will manage to get to a position of respect and power, and maybe along the way, with the influence of Luffy, he might be able to accomplish that goal on a bit of a wider scale. Because from a personal goal standpoint, other than carrying on the wishes of the queen, we don't really know what Jinbei's dream is exactly, right? At least, not that I recall. Let me know down in the comment section down below if I'm incorrect about that one. So, anyways, I bring this all up because Nami sits down and talks about it. It's been his lifelong dream to come here. Well, his lifelong dream is to be a brave warrior of the sea, but he believed that Elbaf was the... And it's been acknowledged here finally, it has been acknowledged before, but here it's acknowledged again that we're finally in Elbaf. This is where Usopp wanted to go more than anywhere else in the world. This was his destination, if you will, like Sanji's is the all blue and stuff like that. This is Usopp's almost end of the road as far as his dream goes to a degree, or at the very least he's hit a major milestone towards reaching the end of that goal. And he's loving every minute of it, right? Loving every minute of it, right? So Nami sits down, talks with Jinbei about this, and says, well, he seems, because she doesn't even berate him. She goes, well, he's wanted to come here forever. It's fantastic and stuff. And Jinbei even says, he seems to be having a great time, the time of his life right now and stuff like that, right? So we move on from there, and we get Gerd talking with Rhodes and stuff like that, and they're discussing the two guards who are injured. Rhodes tries to lie through his teeth, and immediately she's not buying it at all, and is like, so he's going to confess. He immediately is going to confess what Luffy and Zoro are up to, because Nami was returned. The guards are okay. They have multiple fractures, this, that, and the other thing, but Luffy and Zoro obviously went with the key while Scopper went off to do his own thing. Zoro and Luffy went with the key to see Loki, and of course they see him all bruised and bandaged up and stuff like that. Zoro remarks that he's huge. Luffy's like, wait a minute, talk to me, are you okay? Who did this to you and stuff like that? Like, are you alright? The animals are all beaten up, they're all dead. Like, is he breathing? Oh my god, he is breathing. Okay, blah blah blah. Now, Luffy's immediately, gonna I'm gonna start freeing him and stuff like that. And he's like, Zoro, come help me and stuff. And Zoro's acknowledging that the animals were defeated, that that the cuffs are made of sea prism stone, so he's obviously a devil fruit user and stuff. And Zoro basically says, he's like, a giant's dying, we need to help him. And he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Zoro's like, hold the phone. I never agreed to this. I agreed, once again, this is Zoro being the first mate. I agreed that you wanted to do this. I wanted to talk to him and assess the situation for myself first. I'm not saying no, but not saying no doesn't mean that I said yes, right? So he said, I've never even talked to this guy, and everything I've heard about him is awful. So Luffy, he's an ore-sized supergiant. Calm down for a minute. He will be a major problem even if we manage to stop him. He'll still, Zoro's like, listen, I'm sure Zoro right now, whether he can or cannot, he's confident that he can stop Loki, if need be. But Zoro is also humble enough to recognize I probably can't just one-shot this thing without collateral damage, and how much rampage and havoc will this giant rain down upon Elbaf, who we've been graciously welcomed by, before I manage to put him down. You know what I mean? Or we put him down. Zoro's being practical about this. Is like, even if we can kill him, even if I'm powerful enough, or Luffy's powerful enough, or if we all team up, we're strong enough to stop this giant, that's not relevant, because how much damage will he cause before we stop him, right? So Zoro's just being practical about this. He's not as arrogant to say, oh, it doesn't matter, if he starts a rampage, I'll one-shot him, no problem. I've never met this guy before, but I'm confident I can do that. No, Zoro's like, I'm proud of my abilities, but let's think this through. And that's what he's trying to tell Luffy right now. He's like, whoa, 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 we agreed that we would talk and stuff like that. So immediately he's like, so he kicks him really fucking hard. Zoro goes slam. He pulls a Sanji. And Sanji, I think Sanji would be like, Mosshead, that's what I do. You don't kick things. And I'm like, is this the first time Zoro's ever kicked someone in the series? I'm sure he's kicked people before, but I can't recall a time he's actually straight up, not punched, not swords, not the blunt end. No. He straight up went for the leg and kicked a guy, shown 100%. And the first guy he kicks is Loki. That's pretty cool to me. Anyway, so this wakes him up and stuff like that. Of course, Loki's like, what the hell? And stuff like that. And Zoro, actually not bad, saying like, okay, we've heard that Loki's a trickster, Loki's this devil, this demon, all these bad things about him. So Zoro's immediate thought was, okay, so the injuries and this blood are real. He doesn't seem to be acting. Didn't even cross any, because we saw it happen, obviously, right? We saw it happen as readers. But from Zoro and Luffy's perspective, they left him, he was fine, and now he's acting all beat up and stuff. Didn't even cross, I don't think, any other One Piece reader's minds. Zoro with the kidneys. Zoro with those damn kidneys. Just going, yeah, no, like, everything we've heard about this guy, he could be faking. I gotta make sure he's not faking, first and foremost. Like, Zoro with the brain cells right now. It's kind of awesome, like the duality. This definitely feels what Rayleigh and Scupper had to deal with Roger all the goddamn time, So, anyways, they immediately, and Zoro's very harsh about it. It's like, oh no, Zoro, you kicked him and now he died. And he goes, if he dies, he dies. He's literally, it's Rocky IV time. If he dies, he dies. He wasn't meant to survive. I'm like, Zoro, man, that's fucking cold. And even Luffy says, that's messed up, man. That's messed up. So, but Zoro then agrees. He's like, okay, he's not faking, whatever. He goes, we're going to unlock the cuffs, except for one to his leg. He goes, that'll, in Zoro's mind, that'll still weaken him somewhat with his devil fruit, yada, yada, yada. Still be chained to the tree. We'll unlock some of it, and we'll go from there. And when he wakes up, we'll talk to him, and then we'll decide what to do. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then, they're just going through the whole idea and stuff like that. It's like, well, what can we do? Of course, their idea, Zoro and Luffy's, is like, we heal on booze and meat. So it's like, there's meat over there and stuff like that. And Zoro immediately wants to chop up the dead, but looks like dead or comatose friggin' animals. Of course, Loki and Luffy's friends that they made friends with in 2.5 seconds. And he's like, no, those are my friends. You cannot do that meat as me. He's like, no, those are my friends. Do not eat my friends. He's like, all right, fine, jeez. Sort of idea. Because Zoro has no idea that this interaction happened. He has no idea that these are sort of, pets or companions of Loki and now Luffy and stuff like that. Has no idea. So he's just like, meat is meat. He's like, no, you cannot do that, Zoro. And yeah, it's actually a really great exchange. I love, because we have very rarely, for a long time, it's been a long time since Luffy and Zoro just chilling and making decisions on their own. The first mate and the captain just going off on a little side adventure by themselves. No Usopp, no Nami, no Robin, no Sanji, nobody else, just these two interacting. And it's really nice to see, because we almost never see that anymore. And this is their dynamic, and it is fantastic. Scopper recognized it very much as what he and Rayleigh had to put up with Roger all the time. So, I like that. I really enjoy that fact. So, Hiruden has now come down with Gert. Like, the new giant warrior pirates are coming down, going, Sanji has come with them, and it's basically like, no, you cannot set Loki free, you cannot set it. So they're coming crashing down in, Hiruden and all that. They're coming down to crash and to be like, you cannot wake up, please, for the love of God, you cannot do this. Now, Luffy saves them with a big gum balloon, because they're about to crash land into the underworld, and he's like, gum balloon, and he's like, Straw Hat, that's wonderful. But anyways, the thanks are for later. What did we tell you about Loki? We welcomed you to our home, everything's great, we're having a great banquet, great party. We tell you the one problem is this motherfucker, and your first day here, you're like, I'm gonna free him. What the fuck is wrong with you? Right? So, gotta feel for Hiruden, gotta feel for Zoro, gotta feel for everyone. Now, once again, all the theories being out that obviously there is more than what it seems. I don't think anybody buys the straight up story, because that's never the case. It's never the case. Nobody's gonna buy the straight up story that Loki killed his father in cold blood, and that was the end of it. Yes, is he a bastard? Yes, is he a dick and a lot of stuff like that? I'm sure. And will he try to conquer the world and stuff? I'm sure letting him loose is not the best idea in the world. But I think everything we've heard about him at face value is probably not completely true. There's a truth within the truth, Full Metal Alchemist style going on there, right? So, anyways, they just say you cannot wake Loki up, but at this point, Loki has finally stood up because of course, other than one shackle on his leg or his ankle, he finally stands up and stuff, and he's just like, immediately we don't see it. I believe it doesn't look like we see it, but he immediately apparently has Ragnar. Now Ragnar is, I have no idea. Ragnar is the weapon of choice here. It's Loki's weapon apparently, and he's got his hand on it and stuff, and they're like, Loki, immediately take your hand off of it, and he's just smirking like, no, I'm free now. So he's grabbed his weapon and stuff. Now, of course, I believe it's a type of, it's definitely his weapon. In the following chapter, once again, these are a month old now, so spoilers a little bit for the next chapter. That weapon is a hammer, but it looks like almost a two-handed hammer. It's this giant-ass hammer-like thing. Is it supposed to replace, like, Mjolnir, in a sense? We don't fully know the capabilities. I don't even think yet, as of, 1,145. So, anyways, I really liked the chapter. I loved, as I said, my favorite part was definitely the interaction that's been a long time coming between Zoro and Luffy without interruption, without other characters having their 2 cents. It's just a discussion on what to do in a big situation in the new world between the first mate and the captain. And I like that. I really enjoy that. Plus, Usopp having a drunken great time. Those are the 2 highlights for me of the chapter. They're the big highlights. So, anyways, that's it for me, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the review, as late as it was, over a month late. But it is what it is. I'm sorry, we're catching up on all the March content here in the middle of April. It is what it is, Can't control real life circumstances all the time, right? So, thank you guys so much for, tongue-tied. I haven't done this in a while. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see you guys back here next time, probably a little sooner rather than later, for chapter 1142. And yes, I said I would streamline these, but believe me, 18 minutes is streamlined for my One Piece reviews. They usually last about 35. So just take that into consideration. 18-minute review for One Piece is quick. Now, anyways, have a good one, everyone. See you back here really soon.